want to see what it is, but I really hope it's worth as hard as I've had to think about it because I really don't have a clue where where they're going with it.
And maybe they're trying to stir it up and maybe you have to go in a little different direction with it.
There we go. Well, guys, what did I want to start off with? I guess we could talk about a little bit of what's happening this weekend. We're gonna get this big confrontation between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. The Rock saying that he was going to take his soul at Wrestle. He said that on SmackDown. He's gonna take his soul.
Yeah, let's talk about that whole segment. That was
right.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, give us some thoughts, Magnum.
Well, everybody had seen, or most people had seen him and Cody interact, on the inaugural, Netflix program, and so many nice words exchanged between them, and respect for what Cody's done, carrying his load for the business this past year, and all those kind of things, and so he was in and out of a like a heel character-ish deal, and it was kind of twisted. So I'm not sure exactly where they're going. I'm sure they got some grand idea, and they may not have anything to do with leading to a match. It might just be a mind game, thing. But it was very hard to wrap your head around. And I did like what he said to Seth when Seth was giving him such a hard time about the whole thing. And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows that you may have already made a commitment. Yeah. It might not be available. It's a weird twist. So hopefully they've got something, good to follow it up. I'm a mark for it. I want to see what it is, but I really hope it's worth as hard as I've had to think about it because I really don't have a clue where they're going with it.
Do you think maybe what they've been promoting with WrestleMania isn't getting the reaction they wanted? And maybe they're trying to stir it up and maybe you have to go in a little different direction with it?
Yeah, Megan, what do you think about that?
I don't have a clue what it's got to be, not as hyped. It can't be the fanfare they had last year. Cody had just come, the underdog of all underdogs fighting back against every odd and everything. It was the perfect setup. It's going to be, no matter what they did or what they do with the current players that they've got, to recreate what they had a year ago is practically impossible. So it's going to have to be something solid and marketable and for something that speaks to the magnitude of the event. But I don't know what kind of intrigue they can muster up besides this mysticism. I want to take your soul, so you're dedicated to me for life, so that I can take you to the next ethereal plane. You would think you think he had a little too much of that
tequila,
and maybe some wacky weed with it. But like I said, I'm open minded. I'll wait and see. But it's clear as mud to me at the moment what they're hoping to do with that to generate the viewership.
So the reports were that WWE basically had like maybe a day or so's notice that The Rock was showing up when they made that announcement, like that he was going to be on SmackDown. It was like pretty sudden. So they had to kind of pivot and maybe make a little bit of adjustments. And The Rock does take over and kind of did this whole segment. I do honestly think just The Rock being there, and I think the fact that the story still had a lot of loose ends from what we saw at the end of WrestleMania last year, that like it was appropriate for The Rock to come back in some form or fashion and have him be in the mix, because it does make this WrestleMania story feel like a bigger deal. And I'm all for it, what it is. I thought the segment too. I really like the segment. I think the aspect that The Rock, he just adds another level of entertainment to things, where it's just like,
yeah, 100%.
yeah, where I'm laughing out loud hearing what he's saying, and that doesn't happen too often in wrestling for me. Like where I'm so entertained, I'm laughing about it all, and like so him
You
disparaging.
think he's going to come back and get in the ring?
See, would
they go with a triple threat match? You think?
It's so tough because afterwards he did an out of character press conference where he said that he doesn't think that him and Cody need to have a match, which doesn't make sense from a wrestling standpoint if you're going to position it.
But from a business standpoint, it does, because anything short of him putting Cody over is not good for business, because it's not good for what they built in him, what they're doing in marketing and everything else. And and they certainly could do that. I mean, he's fit and in good enough shape, but they could go out there and do that, and that may be the ultimate spin. I mean, I like that heel that he portrayed last year going in. He leaned in on that so hard. He put on a clinic of what it means to be a heel,
right,
and give the babyface something to have to overcome and an obstacle. I was watching Al Snow's show that was on something. He's got some kind of podcast, not podcast, but like a
YouTube
documentary.
Thing,
right? That show is on Netflix or something, and they're showing the training. But he was talking about psychology, and same thing. Greg always goes back to, and you can't get away from it. People have got to have someone that's that catalyst. They think throwing the stumbling block in your way. I mean, Rock could just be the dastardly guy in the office. He doesn't have to have an actual match. He could cause enough mayhem by him not, pledging allegiance to the Rock, and that in and of itself could be intriguing and open the door for the Rock to bring people in to do his bidding, and undo him that way. I mean, that formula obviously worked great years ago with McMahon and Stone Cold, and it could be a complete reboot, different version of it with a legend. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so I think him throwing out the notion that he wants his soul, I think somebody will happen to sell their soul to The Rock at some point here. And I think kind of turn heel or be if he's not wrestling, he's going to have somebody kind of wrestle in his name in certain ways. Do you think I'll ask both of you guys this. Do you think it should be Cody, or should it be somebody else that's potentially in the chamber that we have? Because there's like names we got in there. John Cena's obviously a big name. We got CM Punk. We got Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins is in the mix. Jamie and Priest is the other one too. And Logan Paul. Is there somebody that should sell their soul to The Rock, or who would be the appropriate person to sell their soul to The Rock to make an intriguing story? I think you could do it several ways, but what do you guys think is top for you? Greg, let's start with you on that.
Logan Paul would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really would. I mean, he's got a lot of heat. He's got all those followers following him in his Instagram and all that. He's got a great personality. Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as wrestling goes,
right.
I don't know outside the ring what he's like, but I'm sure a lot of it is the same. And he just takes that attitude into the ring with them, and the cocky, arrogant guy he is. But when he locks up, for as short a time as he's been in, he is very entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And very solid.
Man, his exchange.
That would really be, I don't know how they would work that into the deal, if they would. I mean, they're throwing a few curveballs in here right now. They got everybody guessing. They got us guessing. And that's good for business.
Or you could take a guy like The Miz, who can work, who can talk, who can do it all, and they're portraying to be like, struggling and kind of off his game and can't get back on the right step, and The Rock, getting ticked off at Cody's lack of it, and then say, "Well, I'll just show you what power can do," and let him, just pour the juice on, the Miz and turn his whole thing back around, and the Miz, can work, and give him a rejuvenation because it's the main guys. It wouldn't make sense. There's got to be somebody that's looking to get a leg up that feels like they're not quite on the step or on the level they want to be on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, oh yeah, man, I get that rub from The Rock, and the moon and the stars are all possible. So yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things. Brock Lesnar, he can pop back up out of the monster. But if Brock ever comes back, which I don't know whether he will or won't, I love that babyface character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that personality that he's able to show like that, to me, is priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hoot. I had no idea I've always looked at him kind of stoic and kind of a grump, and just because of the way he presented himself on camera. But man, he's got personality plus if he wants to.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because you also think about like the element CM Punk has is he has a favor from Paul Heyman still waiting in the wings. So what is that exactly going to be too? I think, Logan Paul would be an interesting one to line with The Rock. I could definitely see, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see CM Punk lining with it because they have two such different high personalities that like, and then The Rock is becoming pretty well known for being, all around. So he's out of wrestling and he's in wrestling. He blurs the lines very well is what I'm trying to say. And so does CM Punk. So if you guys get those two chaotic elements together and have them just be like this top heel kind of like tandem in certain ways, that could create a lot of fun for WWE programming moving forward. And a lot of unpredictability. What we're doing right now is trying to guess what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep it unpredictable. Keep the people guessing.
Yeah, there's nothing obvious about it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Well, they got a lot of great talent there, and they can go in a lot of different ways with it. It'll be interesting what comes out of this next big pay-per-view, the chamber match.
Yes.
You got all those personalities. Is Cena going to come out?
Yeah. What's your prediction? So we got, I'll read the lineup now. So we got John Cena, we got CM Punk, we got Logan Paul, we got Drew McIntyre, we have Damian Priest, and then Seth Rollins.
And they're all in the one chamber together?
They're all in the one chamber match. And so whoever wins gets their title shot at Cody Rhodes. So we'll start with that one. Magnum, if you had to make a prediction for this weekend, this Saturday, who will win the men's elimination chamber?
Well, I mean, you're talking about for the men?
For the men's, yep, for the men.
I mean, I don't think they can have it and not have Cena win it after, after he didn't win the Rumble, and he's on his tour out. This is the last year of the deal. I mean, you can't create that story without having him in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Cena would be my pick too. I think that packs such a headline kind of match. Cody versus Cena. That's a good WrestleMania match right there. It's like something we wouldn't have maybe fathomed to see, but we might see it. Greg, do you think Cena, or do you think another route would be?
God, I want to believe Cena, but I think they're going to throw a curveball here.
Okay.
And which one coming out of there? God, Logan Paul and CM Punk to me kind of throws everything out of what everybody is predicting.
Yeah.
And that surprise usually will generate more ticket buying.
Sure.
Than the predictable. And the predictable to me is John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they've got me. I can't figure it out. And I can usually come up with what I think is going to be the winner of the thing. But they got such great talent in that one chamber. Holy God.
It's heavy.
You know?
It's big time. It's big name. It's stacked, you know?
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? I mean, you think, you said Cena, but is that too obvious?
It's the money match. I mean, it's
You
the
think so?
marquee match. Everybody else there they'd all be great. There's nobody in there that who couldn't have a unbelievable match, but the the once in a lifetime opportunity, you're never going to have that opportunity again.
Yeah.
Cena's last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I think too. I would love to see like a Cody and CM Punk one. I think too. I think you could definitely make a lot of money off of that. But like I think in this case, Cena almost supersedes the predictability-ness of it all. Like even if it is predictable and he does win, like he's the surefire bet. I think like wow, it's still John Cena, and it's still what's going to happen here with The Rock involved with all this too, because you got to think Cody will give his response. Then we're going to see what happens, the aftermath of all of this. And if Cena's in the mix too, you got The Rock, you got Cena, and then you got Cody Rhodes too. So you could definitely do something there. If I had to guess too, I think my prediction has been Cena too as well. So
okay,
but I think too,
anybody coming out of there,
you really can't go wrong in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think like somebody like a Damian Priest might not be there quite yet.
No, not quite.
But if he were the one to sell his soul to The Rock in certain ways or something like that, you could maybe build something that way. But I don't know
about McIntyre?
McIntyre would be good too. But I don't think McIntyre needs The Rock in certain ways. I think he's doing his own thing, which I think is great in itself.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Just tossing out there. That's it. That's what we're here for. If you guys have some questions, get them in. I see a couple already being asked, but whether that pertains to the chamber or pertains to anything else, I'm seeing we get some historic questions here, so that's always good. Okay, the women's. Let me take a look at who is on the women's card of things. We have Roxanne Perez. We have Bianca Belair. We have Naomi. We have, oh my gosh, who else am I missing? Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss. I think I covered everybody in that now. Let me make sure, though. I'm going to pull up Elimination Chamber and see what we got. Boom. Looking at it right now. Elimination Chamber. We have... Oh, my gosh. It's taking me forever to find this. I'm seeing all the advertisements for it.
You'd think Charlotte's got to come out of that thing.
Well, Charlotte's not in the... She's the champ. So she won't be in the match. Oh, Bailey's the other one. So we have... Okay. So this is the women's match, guys. It's Roxanne Perez. It's Bailey. It's Naomi. It's Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Bianca Belair. So those are you. Who's in?
I would think Bianca. I tell you what, she just gets better every week.
Yeah, she's great.
She's a phenomenal athlete.
Yes.
I watched her last week and her match. It was phenomenal. And the strength that gal has. Mm-hmm. And she's cut down a little bit. You see her abs now. I mean, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
She moves great in the ring. She always has great matches. I'm a big fan of hers.
Me too. Big time. Magnum, who do you think? Is there somebody that sticks out to you for Rhea Ripley? Maybe go against?
Yeah, Alexa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think somehow she's going to emerge the one to resurrect that band of misfits that, and because I mean, that's the way she's dressing, persona and everything. And she could carry leading that band of people, first of all. And she's been an outstanding women's champion before. She could have the kind of match for Ripley that you would believe that because her work level is that good. And especially if there was some, twisted tale of her, association with the Wyatts, being expounded upon, because they've just kind of been in limbo. I mean, we saw that one little burst of them on that one show where they had the 8-man or they had some kind of match. It was actually good.
Yeah.
And that was back before they got rid of who's the big guys that they've got.
AOP and Paul Ellering. AOP and Paul Ellering.
They were all in that match together.
Yeah,
that's a crying shame because those guys were just not in the right place at the right time, because they are monsters
Yeah.
and can work.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I thought Paul did a great job managing them. So
He did.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around where from a creative perspective, they just couldn't figure out what to do with all that. But maybe they're looking at demographics and who likes what, and they're measuring it off all kind of other metrics that I can't see. But you don't see guys that big, athletic, they can move like that and go like that, and could have been the Road Warriors 2.0 almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that total package of them with Ellering, what they're like, Ellering as their mouthpiece was awesome, and I just don't know why he was not used like to speak like on behalf of these guys and throughout that whole thing, because it would have enhanced them so much more, I think. But Alexa, I think, is a very interesting and could definitely be a great pivot, almost like an unexpected pivot, because if she's going up against Rhea, that creates some fun stuff that you can do with the Wyatt Six as well. Maybe
that's all I was thinking,
way.
just a twist, because you've seen all the other mixes and matches of most of them, except for the one girl, the one new girl that's in there, and and they're constantly wanting to give it a fresh look, do something a little different spin. Talking about spin, did you see the Sports Illustrated ranking of the 10 best women of all time?
Yes, I did.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
All right,
Very interesting, huh?
I'll pull up the list right now here, and we can look at some of this. Sports Illustrated. Okay, Greg, if you had to take a guess, who do you think is the number one? Now, this is from a WWE standpoint, too. I'll say that.
It's what?
It's from a WWE standpoint.
Okay, WWE. Okay.
WWE women's wrestlers. So if you had to guess who is number one, Sports Illustrated ranked as number one, who would it be?
Oh, it's Charlotte Flair.
Okay. And Magnum, you know who it is, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So number one, you're close, Greg. Charlotte is number two, but number one is Becky Lynch, is the number one women's wrestler. That's Sports Illustrated ranked. Yes. So I was kind of surprised. I love Becky Lynch.
I do too.
If I had to maybe pick like a favorite persona or identity, I think Becky would be it. But I mean, I would have thought Charlotte Flair might have been number one.
I thought so too, for sure. But Becky was, she's been away for a while, and prior to that, when she was there, she was hot. I mean, she was hot. She was the number one gal. Thinking of the best of all time, though, God Almighty.
All time would be really tough because you're factoring in everybody in different.
Yeah, because that's what they're saying. They're saying the best of all time is what they're saying.
Top in WWE. In WWE.
Yeah, in WWE, because they had Trish Stratus up there on the top and Lita on the top. And I mean, if you think back the matches that Becky and Charlotte had, that last woman standing match.
Oh yeah,
they had was absolutely, amazing. And I mean, I can see. I think if Charlotte hadn't had the misfortune of having a few of the injuries that's put her, put her out for extended periods of time, twice, in her career, that might have been looked at a little bit differently, personally.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Becky's too.
Oh, I am too. But when you put the best of all time, to me, that's who's the most prolific in the ring, and Becky is very, very good. But Charlotte, to me, brings more to the match than Becky did.
Well, she's got more in her toolbox. And she got the interview, the persona, the carrying it in and out of the ring, and the athleticism, can do all the the flips and the aerobatic things, but knows how to tell the story and work the match and do the approach that draws people in to that narrative. Yeah. I mean, I think just what she's done since she's come back.
Yeah.
ad-libbing with the people,
Oh yeah.
where she goes out there and they've written her out there as a baby face, and the field and the people like turned on her, and
Yeah.
she just worked it. She just improvised
Yeah.
with
She did.
live on the cuff, and did it appropriately, and it was really good because it's John Cena went through that. Everybody that's been on top for a long period of time is going to go through a point where people, whether they appreciate your performance or not, somebody's going to get sick of you and feel
Right.
like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, it's you again.
Right.
Well, it's me again because I keep winning these Academy Awards for these performances. That's why.
Yeah.
Give me some more cast to work with. Yeah.
It was interesting because when she made her first appearance, the people just roared for her.
Right.
And 2 weeks later, they hate her.
Oh, it was the next day, wasn't
The
it?
next
She won
day.
the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. She won the Rumble, and then
different city,
Raw.
different part of the country.
Yeah. Where did Tiffany end up in that? She didn't quite make that list yet, did she?
No,
Not yet. She's not. I think when the dust settles, she certainly has a chance to, because
Yeah, she's doing well. She's coming along.
also on that list, like we mentioned here, we had Trish Stratus here at number 3. We had Lita at number 4. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks at number 5. Bailey at number 6. And then we had China at number 7. I thought that was a good ad. And then Asuka at 8. 9 was Bianca Belair, and closing it out was Medusa, Alundra Blaze.
Well,
that was really cool that they had somebody that kind of was a trailblazer, and
Right.
and Asuka is one of the best workers has ever been in the women's business.
Yes.
My gosh, she's so good. It's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
She just has the language limitation that doesn't allow her to be quite the orator that the other girls can be, but she still does a really good job. Even in her own stylization.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like you think about some of the names that weren't on that list, and holy smokes, the potential that they have to be on that list moving forward, like a Rhea Ripley, or like you mentioned it, like there's plenty of them that's still on, like a Jordan Grace up and coming. Heck, if Tessa comes over there, you just never know. It's just like there's a lot of possibilities to have happen on that list, and for it to fluctuate or change. So
and speaking of that, I absolutely love the way they're bouncing the NXT in and out of TNA.
yeah.
That is just such a cool vibe going on, and good neat interaction with the men and the women. I mean, on both sides of it, and I just think it's it's just good for content, good for trying to for TNA that's really all they're missing is being on a better platform. That is and not that streaming is not highly important. I mean, that TNA Plus is a great platform to watch from, but if they were on that along with a TNT or some established network along with, I feel like their stock would just go right along beside. They'd be the little train just following NXT up that mountain.
I still can't get TNA.
I know it's on the TNA Plus. It's a tough. I need to start getting in and tuning into it, because I constantly hear how well polished that product is, and I always thought, like, since I've been covering it for a couple of years, that it's been a well polished product since like 2018ish. I think they've done a pretty well. No, maybe later on a little bit, to be honest. Maybe like 2022. I think it started really being really good. And but now it's just like that, like what you mentioned, Magnum, interchanging it and making that all kind of cohesive bond with NXT has been so much fun. And now we're getting the Hardy Boys in the mix. We got Moose showing up. Jordan Grace is officially with NXT. So some really, really fun, neat elements coming into it. So
somebody trying to come out through your window there, TA?
Getting some updates.
Somebody breaking in?
No, my son's. I'm troubleshooting here.
Oh, no worries. If you need to take a
okay.
breather, you can.
I saw those looks. I figured it was something with the family.
Other business matters at hand.
Well, you know, your dad, teenagers, you got to be able to pivot.
Yep.
And
That's it.
You
Gotta
don't
be
need
able
to say anymore.
That's it. That's it. Also, we have on the Elimination Chamber card is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in a unsanctioned match. Yeah, obviously, Sammy's the big time baby face. Kevin Owens is a big time heel right now. Greg, did you have a prediction on who might win this one here?
Well, I'm sure it'll be Sammy, but Kevin's, God, he is so good.
He's really
He
good.
got so much heat on him, and I don't know if Sammy wins that thing, if it's going to take the heat off of Kevin, unless something
he just dropped him on his
to
head again afterwards. I mean, he didn't care.
No,
unless something happens after the match.
Well, it's non-sanctioned. It doesn't matter what they do. They don't have any rules.
No rules.
All right.
No.
Then I can't figure the fucking thing out. How about that?
Yeah, we just get to go along for the ride.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So what? So you think Sammy wins then, Greg, or you think it's something else then?
Oh God. I think Sammy's going to win the match, but I hope Kevin does.
Okay.
Okay.
Magnum, what do you think?
I think Kevin wins the match because he did the favor for Cody, and you know, just my thought. You know, that would be the the bounce back from I mean, getting Alabama slammed through a staggering ladder, and you almost look like you were decapitated.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but you know, he's carrying great heat. I mean, they can do whatever they want. I wouldn't be so much worried about the match is what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, they're this weird juncture with the whole thing. So you got to, you know, hug and make up, or somebody's got to go to the hospital.
Right. No, I think Kevin wins, but I do think they perpetuate this further. I think it's going to be unsettled in some form or fashion. There's reports that Randy Orton is reported to come back before WrestleMania. So obviously he has unfinished business with Kevin. So maybe something comes into play there. And maybe to what Greg you're saying is maybe Sammy gets the win in that fashion. They move on from that. But
if Orton came in and helped Sammy win the match, I could see that.
I could see that too. But I would also really, really like to see them have a WrestleMania match, the one-on-one, Sammy and Kevin Owens, because they have such a storied rivalry with one another. I think you can make that a lot of fun. But where does Orton come into play at that one too? Would be the big question. So, yeah, interesting. And then, hey, we got one more match. It is the aforementioned Tiffany Stratton teaming up with Trish Stratus against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So a little fun tag match there. Trish Stratus, they're in Toronto, so that's her home city. Magnum, you predict anything wild with this one?
I'll just say Trish to me is like her work and her presence in the ring, and maybe it's because they're giving her more respect at this juncture in her career. I mean, she's really showing, you know, she's still got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, she's gone right in there, you know, heads up against Godzilla and not back down and do a handstand and hook her with your feet and flip her and fly her all around. And, you know, I mean, no telling. They could do whatever they want with it. You know, they could have a Pier Sixer and take that one back to WrestleMania because, you know, I think that's a good combo.
Yeah.
I think that's really good for Tiffy time, because she needs, you know, the people really haven't known how to take her.
Yes.
Even though there are a lot of people chant for her and everything else, she acts like a heel, talks like a heel, but you know, but fights against people that they hate worse. So it's a good rub with her and Stratus. So we'll see what they do with it.
Greg, do you think there's going to be tension between Trish and Tiffy? What do you think? You know, you being the expert on Tiffany.
Well, I was just thinking about that. I think they're going to win the match.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
After that, I think something could happen.
Yeah.
I think maybe it depends what they want to do with Tiffany. You know, she's a funny personality. She
Yeah.
comes across as such an arrogant little shit, but the people are liking it.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you do?
That's it. The thing
You
is,
know,
yeah.
does she turn on Trish after the match?
Mm.
Or are the people so into her that they don't want to take that chance of destroying that?
Well, you don't want to mess up WrestleMania.
Yeah, you don't want to screw that up.
You want
That's
her to
the
be a
issue
baby face going into WrestleMania with Charlotte.
with Charlotte. Yeah. Boy,
Yeah, that's right.
I would like to see a little tension, though. I think you could tease something and have some fun with Tiffany and Trish.
Well, either that or Trish will help get her over more.
Yeah, either way, I think it's going to
By
help
her being with her,
Yeah.
and they win the match, it's going to help her elevate her a little bit more for the match with Charlotte.
Yeah, I think Tiffany and Trish winning straight up, I think is the way that they're going to go with it. I think Candice LeRae can take the pin, I'm sure. Cool.